Okay, y'all. Look at this design. I am so excited. Oh my gosh. Hello, everyone. Hello, War of the Visions fans. I'm Jackie Fox, and today we're going to be talking about Sid, the Veritas of the Heavens. The first free Veritas unit. This is going to be a new series of UR units. They're going to be absolutely free. Much like the Select Quest units, but maybe a little bit easier to obtain in a lot of ways. I'm really excited for these guys. They're going to be maxing out at 120 for now. They also don't have limit breaks, but it's easy enough to get this guy to 99. Really, all you have to do is be current in story, is my understanding, and it's just going to be a lot of collecting off of the challenge boards to pick up the medals that are going to buy this guy shards. But he should be easy enough to 99, which is awesome because this TMR is basically game-changing. It's going to dispel auto-restore for enemies, which is massive. Whole map. This is a map effect. So this is going to hit everything. Decreased AP for 10 by 10 for enemies. Decrease attack by 30% for 2 turns for enemies. Nullify auto-restore. There's not a time limit on that, so they won't be able to use auto restore for the rest of the fight. And then it's going to increase the wearer's critical evasion by 25. This is all great. And as you can see, there's not a Dream Awakening here yet, so we only know part of what's going to be going down here, but acquired AP and defense penetration is what we are getting from the Master Ability so far. So hopefully this will be a little bit shorter of a review than they usually are. In that there's not quite as much to review. For our main passive, we're going to be getting defense penetration 40, decrease AP consumption of 25, and single target resistance of 15. Usually I would be advocating for pierce resistance penetration being in here as well, but piercing isn't something that is often very resisted, so that's a little bit redundant. It would be potentially future-proof for a world where people are building pierce resistance. However, I still don't think it's super necessary. Maybe this will be part of the 140 upgrades, but I do think that the other new passive is incredibly good. I'm just not like super into the other passives here, but jump +1, HP +12, and agility +12, I think that's great. Now, this guy already has like 4 jumps, so giving him a 5th jump is just ridiculous. So maybe that's not as important, but usually movement and agility on the same buff is pretty good. This one also having a bit of HP seems pretty cool. Maybe there's only limited situations where this is actually as useful as it could be. In which case you're going to be wanting to run defense, HP attack, or upgrading flurry, counter, and accuracy. I don't know. It kind of depends on what matchup you're going into. Maybe this one is the most useful of those, but I really like this one. I think that's what I would probably use. His main counter to all damage, not huge range. You can pierce your allies with this, but it is going to counter all damage, and it is going to absorb HP as well. So a little bit of a healing preemptive counter here that can be pretty cool. Flurry counter can be upgraded to passive to be a little bit better, but let's just assume that's not. 30% counter all damage, 121 mod, and really close up. And then if we want a counter skill that's going to proc at any distance, any range, 20% chance to counter physical damage, reduces damage by 45%. That being said, only 20% and only physical damage. There's a lot of drawbacks to this one that aren't going to help in a magical matchup, and I think that magical matchups are probably going to be the best way to deal with a team like this, or the kind of teams that he's going to be on. Basic attack, guaranteed hit, piercing, skill, 121 mod, straight line from Sid. Will automatically cast AP restore for self, 0. Increase effect by 7 for each enemy kill up to 2. So 7 to 14 AP recovery off of that skill. So that's his finisher. Reduce physical damage the larger the attack area size for self, if haste. Same for magical, if haste. Also gives haste, as you would assume, for 3 turns, if they have haste. I love the way they word that, because that just makes no sense. So 42% increased speed, and then area attack size, damage reductions for magical and physical, and a debuff weakening effect of 40%, which is pretty powerful in reducing all debuffs incoming. You can dispel auto revive, so once again, another part of that rivalry with the re-raise teams, right? Rivalry with, you know, Zidane and Veritas of the Heavens versus Vivi and White Witch Helena. But other than that, it's just a 220 mod, so much like Vivi's auto revive killer, this is also going to hit like a ton of bricks and potentially murder the unit that it lands upon. It's also a timed jump. We have a buff, AoE buff here. It's going to reduce physical damage 50% 3 times for self, AoE resistance 20 for allies, human killer for physical of 20 for allies. We don't see a lot of ways to make that happen. That's also going to be extended. The allies part is going to be extended into 4 turns with the upgrade, which is pretty helpful. Again, not a lot of ways to apply human killer to your buds. I think Zizan, the normal unit, can do it, and there's so many drawbacks to him that it's really refreshing to see another character that can do this now. Finally, our, oh my gosh, 50% AoE resistance reduction for 3 turns for targets. Huge AoE pattern, 165 mod, 2 hit skill, 3 casts. This is absolutely going to destroy opposing teams. This is just a defense shredder. Again, I think it's important that Zidane, as I was saying in his review, has a pierce attack resistance debuff. This guy's going to cover AoE resistance, Zidane can cover the pierce resistance, and they're just going to pile in on each other. And then our final skill, Cross Shape AoE, dispel all buffs, dispel haste, dispel physical and magical damage increases, increase defense penetration by 30 for 3 turns, and then 165 mod. Quite powerful. Just does a lot. Those aren't conditional. If you were here for Zidane's review as well, if you're kind of going from Zidane's review to this one, with Slate Riper, all of that stuff was conditional. This is not conditional on a critical hit. This just dispels. Main sub job, 165 mod, decrease attack by 40%. Not good. 165, 25% chance to inflict stun on a Crush Hit AoE. Better. One thing I will say about this top skills is it is a 3-hit move. This is his chaining option. There may be some situations like story quest type of thing where you're doing this for the missions that you want a 3-hit skill, but I don't really think that that's going to be great in actual use. Then we have Paladin. Paladin, luckily, has Immortal Spirit. That's going to be the first thing we talk about here. So he can get Courage. That means his Courage can be protected and defended by Zidane. He has a kind of healing-ish skill, but these are usually really bad. This one is not particularly good either. He's not a faith unit, so it's not really going to be good for him. This also probably isn't worth your time. It's only for 1 turn. Defense and Spirit aren't what they used to be. Decreased evasion rate's probably not relevant for him, but you know, I think this day and age, this shouldn't have a drawback anymore because those two aren't as great as they used to be. It's only 1 turn. So maybe the Stun Blade, but that's really short range. I don't see that happening either. Maybe you could draw hate with him. This is probably, like, Taunting Blade is a really good skill. If this guy can survive, I'm not sure if he can survive being a tank, survive being the center of attention, but if he can, then this is potentially a powerful skill here. These are probably the only two good things about this. They are good enough that you might still want to run this, but let's look at Pugilist. So we can restore a little bit of HP, kind of the same problem as the last one, but this one's also going to restore a bit of defense, or increase defense as well. Still not a great buff though. 170 mod decreases attack, but can also decrease that attack by 79% if you've been attacked 5 times, I guess. That's pretty neat. Move to target panel, 121 mod. I'm not really sure he needs it. That could be useful maybe in certain situations. Restore HP 30%. This is a good heal for people who don't have faith. This is kind of the opposite of the one that we just saw. This actually would make a decent heal for him. And then he could increase strike attack, defense penetration, single target resistance. A lot of these things are good. There is actually a strike team you could build him around that could utilize this. But he's not really a strike unit. If you're not running him on a strike team, you probably want to ignore this, which I do feel like, despite the fact that it doesn't have but 2 good skills in it, Taunting Blade, which is questionable, and Mortal Spirit, I do think that Paladin is probably the way to go in sub-jobbing this guy. But I think you're mainly going to rely on his main sub-job, and I just want to say, like, in addition to everything I've said so far about this guy, I just find it great that we have new free UR units. I love that they're the Veritas. I love that FFB fans can claim their Veritas for free. That's just so cool for such cool units, such cool design, and their redesign for this game just makes me so happy. So, if you too are excited to get your free Veritas, again, all you really have to do to get them up to 99 is to do your story from the looks of it, and then from there you're going to be completing additional levels of the legendary reliquaries chamber that they're associated with. There are 8 legendary reliquaries chambers and 8 Veritas. This is not a coincidence. However, we on Global only have 7 of these, so we probably have to wait until after we get the one for Great Swords, which is probably going to be coinciding around the time that the 3rd Warrior of the Crystals quest opens up and we get our Electric Astrius. But I think about a month after that we should be seeing this guy, and I can't wait. I'm really excited for him. I think he's going to be great, and I think that Zidane fans especially are not going to be able to wait for this guy. And in fact, if FF9 is sooner rather than later, and this guy is later rather than sooner, that could be a little bit of a problem for Zidane fans, but I think that they're going to be a great combo together whenever that happens. Yeah, so that's what I got to say about Sid, Veritas of the Heavens, and oh my gosh, this is the first in what will be a series of Veritas videos that I'm super excited to be doing. So thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe on your way out, and hit that link on your way down there. That's going to give you access to the whole Jackie Fox media experience, books, podcasts, videos, all that kind of stuff. Anything you want, it can be found there. Discord, just all sorts of stuff. So check out that link, and I'll see you in the next one.